Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing very well. This is me Reshma Ravindran, and today we're going to look into a very important topic. But before I go into the topic, go down and click on the subscribe button because that is what motivates me to make more videos. Have you done it? Yes, let's go ahead. You guys already know what the topic is. It's just in the subject line. Yes, today I have decided to talk about co-op because I have almost completed my study terms and I am finally entering into my co-op term starting from January. So I thought I should share my experience about it. Here I want to make it clear that I am just sharing my experience and I do not have any professional understanding about the whole thing, but it's just my experience and how I, as a student, have come across so many hurdles when it comes to co op and my course, and that is what I'm going to be talking about today. So, before I go into more detail about co op, let me tell you what the full form of co-op is. It is basically cooperative education, which means you combine both your study term and a paid work term together, and that's how co-op works here in Canada. So it could be of two types mainly, you would probably be both studying and working together in one term, or you can just be working in one entire term and they still call it a co-op. So these are the types of co-op that we have. Basically, most of you guys know that I am part of Lambton College and I am currently pursuing project management, which is a 2-year program. So basically I had 3 full study terms which I completed, and now I am entering into the final term in which you can either do a co-op or a project. So basically how this works is, in the third term, all the students will start applying to their respective co-op job opportunities, and once they get it, they will have to upload it in the work term record with their co-op advisor, and once they approve it, you can go ahead and do your co-op in the final term. In case if you do not get a co-op, you will be moved into the project term, and that's when you start doing your project for the final term. So most of the students will basically try to get into the co-op because most of the students will definitely want to get that Canadian experience, because that will give you the edge, because you already have worked with employers and you're gaining Canadian experience, and that is going to look great on your resume when you start applying for jobs. So in only in the case when you don't get a co-op, you actually get into a project. So when does the preparation of co-op basically begins? 1 month before, 2 months before? Basically, you need to start preparing for co-op even before starting your course. The reason why I'm telling this is because when I started my course, I really didn't look into how I want to do a co-op, but luckily I got a course in Lambton College where I just have to work for one entire term. I know a lot of people who basically study in different, reputed colleges, and basically they feel it's hectic mainly because they have to handle both studying and doing a co-op in the same term. Now, I think that this could be hectic in most of the cases because um, when you are looking for co-op, basically if you're applying for a full-time co-op, there's an opportunity, there are more number of opportunities for you because you're going to dedicate your entire time for the co-op. But when you're doing a part-time co-op, because you're already studying in college, you won't be able to give a full-time co-op. So in that case, you will have to find a part-time co-op. The opportunities kind of reduce, and the opportunity of getting a paid co-op reduces even more. So probably you'll have to get into an unpaid work term because you have to study and still you have to manage your expenses, which means you have to continue going for a part-time job. So doing a part-time job, a work term, along with that your studies, I think this is going to be really hectic for any student who comes to Canada. So I think you guys should really look into the course structure and how the colleges have designed your co-op to, like, even before deciding on which are the most reputed colleges, you need to see how they have designed your course, because that's very, very important. I have seen a lot of people really regret who got into good colleges, and they still feel that combining both together could really be hectic. Another really good advantage about my course, I would say, is that in case if we don't get into a co-op, like unfortunately we don't find an opportunity for a co-op, or if we got a co-op and it was not approved by the college, then we have an amazing opportunity to actually move into a project, and we will still be able to complete the course with the project. So we have a backup plan. That is what I would say. That is how I would call it. But in other colleges, I'm not talking about all colleges, I'm just talking about some of the colleges, and I do not want to mention the names of these colleges, but there are some colleges in which you will definitely have to find a co-op opportunity. So what they tell me is that if they do not find a part-time co-op, they will have to extend their study permit, they'll have to extend their course, complete a co-op, and only then they'll be able to graduate. Now this puts, I think, a lot of pressure, because I don't understand how this really works, because I don't think it's okay for any student to extend their studies to complete a co-op, because I think Lambton College has given that opportunity or a backup plan that if you don't get a co-op, you can get into a project and complete your graduation, and then you can just go ahead and start looking for other job opportunities just like any other student. Let me start with the common mistake like everyone makes, including me. So the thing is, my co-op will be starting from January, and my co-op work term will start from January. So when do we start applying for these co-ops? Basically, I would say you should start applying for it from summer, as in if you are doing, like for instance, I'm doing my co-op from January 2023. So basically I should have started applying from summer 2022. So can you see the time gap? The reason is there are employers who start posting job opportunities even from then, and when you have such a long time, you will get more number of opportunities. The mistake that I did was that I started applying only from October, I would say, because my final term started in September, and I just started looking into opportunities only in the month of October. So basically, I did not get a lot of interviews, mainly because I started only in the month of October. And the reason why I'm sharing this is because I know a lot of people who got a lot of interviews, and I asked them why and how they got a lot of interviews, and they said they started early. So you guys do start applying early, only then you will get a lot of opportunities, and you will get a lot of chances to meet with different employers. Whether you get a job or not, you're still gaining a lot of experience talking to employers, and you already know what they're expecting, and that is what is important. The reason why I'm telling you guys to start early is because so I applied in October. I'm just going to tell you about how they responded to me and how everything got confirmed. So I applied in the month of October, and I got a response from them like 20 days later, literally 20 days later. And I did my interview. The interview process was kind of quick for me, and that is not the case for most of the uh, companies. It is very slow. So basically, I got a call within like 20 days, and then I did my interview. I completed my interview process within 2 weeks. I'm telling you, that is still quick. After I completed my interview process, I did not hear from them for like 2.5 to 3 weeks. So only after 3 weeks, I actually got a call back from them telling that I was selected and I could start my onboarding process and everything. Also, another reason why you have to start early is because apart from the employers responding and their time limit, keep in mind that you have to, once you get the job, you need to submit a work term record to your college, which will be then approved. And you need to give them the ample amount of time to approve your work term record. Another common problem all the students face, like literally everyone, is that no employer is responding to what we apply. So because the thing is, when we started applying, we applied a little late first of all, and most of the recruiters have already started taking interviews. There were very few employers left. It's the flu season, so don't mind that. So very few employers left, and we actually had less opportunities. So what happened was we did not get the response very quickly, and everyone started kind of panicking. And that is the reason why it's important to apply early. So there's also another reason why the employers actually don't respond to your uh, submission, is because probably they haven't selected you, or they have gone ahead with other students. And it's very common that employers don't respond to you. Sometimes they just ghost you, like they do not respond at all. Some of the employers send you a rejection email, like unfortunately we did not go ahead with your application process and everything. So that could be because of your resume mainly. Yes. So when it comes to resume, what I hear from a lot of people is that they usually have some kind of software. I do not know the name of the software, that basically just reads your resume, and if there are no keywords, it just directly rejects it. And most of the companies do that. You cannot be sure that a manual person, I mean, an actual person will be sitting there to go through your resume to select it or not. So once you look into the job description, make sure you add all the keywords to your resume. Most of the international students feel this way, that since they do not have any experience in their home country, they feel that they might not be able to secure a co-op because you don't have proper experience. Even if you do not have any experience at all, absolutely zero experience, how do you make your resume more attractive? This is where something called volunteering comes up. So I know a couple of my friends who have no experience in India, but they were still able to get a lot more interviews than me. And I asked them, how did you guys do it? And one thing that they said was they actually volunteered in a lot of project management companies. So when volunteering is basically, you just don't get paid for it, but you still kind of gain Canadian experience. So for instance, for us, project management professionals, we have an institute called the PMI, and my friends actually volunteered with that institution, and that's how they made their resume look much more better. Even with zero experience, they were able to get a lot of interviews. So if you are someone who does not have any experience, volunteering is your keyword. Try to get as much of Canadian experience as possible, because that is what is going to get you through all these interviews. A couple things that I really want to add is that go ahead and make more connections with different kinds of people, because I think when I spoke to a lot of people who were able to crack a lot of interviews, they told me that one thing they did was they basically proofread their resume with at least 10 to 20 other people, like seniors or different people from different industries, to make sure that their resume actually looks more attractive. This way you can correct all the mistakes and understand the expectations of the employers. So I think that was a brilliant idea that most of the students did, which I did not do. And I think that I will definitely get into the practice of making more connections on LinkedIn to do something like that. So basically what you do is create a resume, make a lot of connections, send your resume to those people, ask them how their resume actually looks, and ask them how what are the things that you can actually improve on your resume. And these are the things that is going to get you the right kind of job. So, what role does the college actually play? So, this is basically my experience with the college. We did have two courses in the past 2 terms. Starting in the second term, we actually had a course, and even in the third term, we had a course on how to present ourselves with an employer, and how to do a resume, and how to explain general questions, and basically stuff that will help us to present ourselves well with an employer. So these are the courses that helped me. And apart from that, the college also helps you with the career portal that I mentioned earlier. But apart from that, everything is completely up to you. It is you who will have to do it. College does give you an assistance, but they will not find you a job. So keep that in mind and focus on getting the right job for you. Last but not the least, in case if you do not get a co-op, I think it's completely okay, because you have the backup plan, which is the project. That is what I was talking about earlier. Do not get disheartened, because this is not the end of the road. So once you graduate, you're still going to find another full-time job. And I would say that everyone should try to get into a co-op. The main difference is that for the project, you will have to again pay the fee for it. But if you're doing a co-op, you do not have to pay the fees. Now, this is again for the Lambton College students. I don't exactly know how things are for other colleges, but if you do not get a co-op, do not get disheartened, because of course you have a backup plan, which is your project. Once you complete it, you're going to go ahead and graduate. And do not forget that even working for a project basically means that you get an opportunity to apply whatever you have learned, and you will basically be in a position where you run your own project. You kind of understand how the whole thing works, and you get to take the ownership of doing different things. That's it from me today, guys. And like I mentioned earlier, this is my opinion, and I have given you my honest and raw opinion about co-op. And you will of course find a lot of opinions from different people, but keep in mind that it is your opinion and your decision that really matters. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Bye.